All right, tonight, guys, I want to hopefully try to capture and share with you this Oris Big Crown Pointer d26 limited. I mean, there's some crazy long part number. This is a Big Crown D.26286HB-RAG. So we're going to cover this. You can see the radial engine on the front of this aircraft here. This was inspired by a Swiss aircraft that harkens back to the World War II time. There was like a trainer aircraft, and I'll show you some pictures of it in there. I don't know a ton of history on it, but definitely a big fan of like radial engines and all crazy style of engines that were done back in the day. But more importantly, let's focus on this watch. First of all, I have to say, I know there's maybe people that like or dislike the pointer date, but I can't help but think that when we're dealing with automatic watches and analog, that this would be the ultimate versus, say, having the date displayed in a little window via a number. This has a mechanical arm that moves and points to a number that is permanently printed on the dial. I think it just gives you a whole different perspective when you're looking at the watch dial. So I think that's very cool. And overall, I think the aesthetics of this particular model, there's some other colorways of it, but this is the one I have right now. So I feel like Oris captured a vintage, like a new stock vintage look watch without trying to be vintage, if that's such a thing. There's no artificialness going on here. I think this is all just naturally happening, and it seems like a vintage watch, even though it is brand new. With the cathedral hands and the pointer date, which, Oris has been doing pointer dates for, I think, 80 years. I think they came out with a special 80-year bronze edition version of this watch that is to commemorate the pointer date that they did. And the big crown on this crown is actually, I think I measured it at 7.5 millimeter across. Thick wise, I think it's just over 3 millimeter thick. So definitely easy to grab on and manipulate, but it's not obtrusive. So it's a really good size. And then you have this really cool coin edging around the bezel there, surrounding the bubble domed sapphire crystal. And of course the color on the dial and the printing and everything is just, I think, great. And there's some other really good colorways, such as there's a really cool looking gray one. I know a lot of people are super keen on they have a blue one that's almost like a denim type blue, but it's very muted. It's very cool looking. My personal favorites are this green and probably that gray dial. I think those ones are my favorite. I do like the blue one as well. And then there's a black one. There's also, these are all 40 millimeter, if I didn't say that already, 40 millimeter. The lug to lug is 48 millimeter. 20 mil lug width, and the thickness is only like 12 millimeter thick. But they also have a couple of color versions. I think it might be a gray and a black or a green and a black, I can't remember, but in a 36 millimeter. So if you have a smaller wrist and you're after this watch in a 36 mil, they got you covered, because they made that too, and it's really cool. But this 40 mil wears really good. It actually even wears and feels smaller on my wrist than say like some other like 39 millimeter watches I have. So maybe I'll grab that and show you here in a second. But I bought this used off my good friend Homer, and he discovered this bund strap, and it's a very affordable one. It's on Amazon. It's only $40. I'll put a link down in the description. I found it. It's a HDT bund strap. They claim it's waterproof. It's probably water resistant leather, but man, I think it just, I know there's a bunch of you guys that posted up pictures before that maybe don't like the bund strap. This watch comes with some really nice leather straps already, so that are vegetable tanned. They're like really, really high quality leather straps. I tried these on, and then I instantly went back to the bund strap. I think this thing is going to live on this strap. It's like perfect. I don't know if the case just fits it really good. You can see it's all polished on the side, and it kind of even flares out a little bit towards the bottom. It almost bellies out a little bit, and you can see that the coin edge is actually submerged down into those lugs a little bit. It kind of gives some depth to the overall case design, I think it really works really good here. So I do want to show you the case back, because the other models have a display case back. This one being the limited edition D26, you can see this is number 721 of 1931. This has a really cool, well done case back here displaying the Swiss D26 trainer airplane that was used, that's currently being saved, and I think part of the profits from this watch is actually going to a foundation that is preserving that aircraft. I think it's called Hangar 31, so I think that's probably why they did 1931. It's for Hangar 31, so something like that. So they even this case back is just decorated really nice. The crown action is amazing on it. Even with this bun strap, you can get at it pretty easy. So I do want to show you real quick that pointer date. I know this video goes long. I've been making longer and longer videos. The wind on this is really good. This is the, Oris calls it the caliber 754, but it's, you know, a modified based on the Sellita SW200-1. So it is a hack and hand wind. And the first position you can change the date. But what I want to show you is I want to go through and I'll give you a date change, because much like other Swiss movements, the date change snaps over instantly. So it's not like a smooth transition from that 17 to the 18. As we come around to the midnight, you're going to see that date change happen like instant. Boom, there it goes. So very cool. I like that. It's very positive and very effective. And then you can see there's like almost no play in the crown, even for the size. And then you go ahead and push it in and just screw it right in, like smooth like butter. So overall, very cool. Let's take a look. It comes in a really nice leather pouch with these other straps in there. And then it has, you know, this full booklet, which has a bunch of Oris information. But what I want to show you, without making too much drama there, is this booklet, because this is pertaining mostly to this particular model. So if you want to pause it and read it, you can do so. I'm not going to cover all this. This is the history on the aircraft. You can see, and there it is in the, you know, of course it was in European country there. So it's a Swiss aircraft, so there's definitely going to be some snow and stuff. There's some recognition for a Hangar 31 to preserve the aircraft. You can see when they got it, it wasn't much of an aircraft. It was just the main frame there. I'm sure there was a bunch of parts, but that's a really good photograph of it. Hopefully the video captures some of this. You can see some older pointer dates there. You know, that goes back to 1938 when they first started doing them. So really cool watch. I'm glad, bummer for Homer to sell it, but that's what we do. We buy and sell watches. I'm definitely glad I jumped on it, because a lot of the pictures online of this thing just really don't do it justice. I think when you have it in person, and hopefully some of this video will come through, it is a very, very nice looking watch. So let me toss it on wrist here real quick. I'll show you what it looks like on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. I've tried on some NATOs on this, but I haven't worn it with a NATO. I really like it on this strap. So it just feels so comfortable, and I like the feel of it. Even with the added thickness, I think it just works really good for me. So as you can see, a lot of that heft on my wrist is that button strap. So if you put it on a NATO or one of these straps, it's not going to seem nearly as big and bulky. So and then you got, I don't know if I'm going to feed it through, but you got all these different colored straps that are like, aviation inspired color themes and stuff like that would play really nice on it. This is the Haveston single pass ones. So I'm not sure if this one would look good on there. It probably would. So I don't know that I'm going to throw one of those on because I'm already going long, but I'm going to get you a Loom Shot. But before I do that, I'll show it next to, I got a couple of smaller, well, not really smaller, but of course I have my Rolex 39 here, Oyster Perpetual. I'll show you next to that. You can see that even though it's 40 millimeter, it seems like it plays a little bit smaller, if that makes sense. And then of course I have the gifted by my good buddy Jack, their Certina DS1. You can see that's a very similar size there. So I'm having a lot of fun with these kind of watches right now because I'm kind of burned out of the divers. So like when Homer posted this up for sale, as soon as I seen a couple of pictures of it and did a little bit of research on it, I'm like, yeah, I definitely want that. That's pretty sweet. So definitely glad I bought it. And price-wise, you know, they're trending. I think new, this thing retailed for like $2,000. I think in the used market, you can find them, you know, $1,600, $1,700. That's for the D26, the limited. If you look at the non-limited ones, you know, the blue one and the gray one and the black one, I think you might be able to get those, you know, around $1,300. I think new, they were, I got the prices here somewhere. Let me look. I think new they were $1,600 on leather, and then they actually had a really cool bracelet, which I may try to source even for this guy, because you guys know I'm a bracelet guy. Even though this wears great on this, I would like to try to find the bracelet. On bracelet, those sold for $1,800. So it's kind of a bummer this one didn't come with a bracelet, but that's fine. I think it works really good on the leather. So I'll close out with a Loom Shot because there is actually loom on this. Hopefully it'll show up on camera. And it is actually fairly long lasting. It's not focusing very good. There we go. It's not crazy bright, and you're going to see the loom on the numbers are going to fade first, obviously, and then the hands actually stay the brightest, the longest. Even those little pips. I mean, you know how difficult it is for manufacturers to get those pips to stay bright for very long. So those are going to fade over time, but the hands are definitely going to stay bright for most of the night. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you on the next video.